Designers and Builders, where design meets construction. We explore groundbreaking trends and talk to the pros reshaping our spaces. For your dream home, workspace, or just great design inspiration, subscribe to Designers and Builders. Welcome to a brand new episode. Today's guest is Carlissa Montoya from CM Closet Design. How are you doing, Carlissa?
Good morning. I'm well. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. Can you tell everybody about your background and your business? How did you get into the closet design space?
Oh gosh, it's been a journey. I've been in the closet for about 15 years, but it all started when my retail store closed. So my background was in retail store openings, new concept stores. And so when my store, Lilly Pulitzer, closed back in 2010, I didn't want to go back to retail. So I started freelancing with really kind of like closet audits and wardrobing. And it was much more about education and how to care for your clothing in the closet. It kind of took the everyday that I was doing in a store in the dressing room into the home in the closet. And so that led into really kind of being a closet housekeeper, a closet kind of the closet lady, the closet girl. I only focused on the closet. And then that led into, well, can you just tear this closet down and start from scratch? And I didn't know how to do that. And so I did that for about 3 years, just kind of freelancing with closet audits and really kind of building my business and letting it evolve organically. When clients started to say, the system is not working for me, I need a new closet, because of my store background with merchandising, new store build outs, I understood the space. And so I started researching of how could I add closet design to my existing services. And that is when I found California Closets and went to work for them and was very successful there for about 6 years. And then when I left California Closets, I never thought I would stay in the closet. I thought I would, open up a retail store. I have a passion for vintage home decor and clothing. And because of my closet audit business, I was already doing private consignment. So I thought, okay, well, maybe I'll do, something along those lines. But when clients started calling and really didn't care that I wasn't associated with a company or a franchise, really wanted a closet, that is when then I went back and said, okay, how do I do this? And started researching. And that is when CM Closet Design launched. I've been doing this, I've been in the closet since 2010. And then 2018 is when I went independent. So I have local fabrication. I have an amazing cabinet maker that I work with who does all of my custom closets that are going to be custom profiles with custom molding, painted, stained, all of those things. And then I have private label manufacturing for all of the other spaces.
That's great. That's
So it's
great.
been a journey. It's definitely evolved. And not only am I in the closet, but I also have a garage enhancement company. So I also own a company with my husband where we do garage grade cabinets with my private label manufacturer. We are dealers with ProSlat, so metal cabinets, organizers, concrete coatings. So we are all things organized, custom in the home.
That's great. What really attracted you to this space? Like what keeps you in it and motivated from like a design perspective? Like I assume if you're opening new stores, like you're a very creative person and you like to look at space and stuff, but like, when it comes to the stuff that you're doing in the home, like what keeps you motivated and inspired?
It's really the relationship. It really is about the relationship with the client. Every space is different because every space, the needs are different. The layout of the home is always going to be different. So it is really like opening a small little boutique dressing room with each of my clients. They have different needs, they have different aspirations of what the space needs to be. Sometimes they're dressing room spaces where you have separate his and hers. Sometimes they are shared spaces. That is what I think is exciting, is because every space is unique. And then the conversations in designing the space, it really kind of goes back to the relationships that I built with clients in the dressing room. There were always very intimate, friendly conversations that happen in the dressing room. It's the most intimate space in the home. It's where you're most vulnerable a lot of times as well. And so that is what keeps me going is just every day it's a new space.
Wow, I've talked to a bunch of closet people in the past, but the way you just described that was it was really, really cool. It's very, a lot of times too, people get caught up in like the design and the stuff, but I can totally see that when you're in somebody's most intimate area of their house and you're understanding more about them, it could be very, very close as a relationship, right? Like you understand what their needs are.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I really think that stems from when working in a retail store and I worked in luxury retail. So, we were showcasing a very lifestyle driven product. And so conversations in the fitting room with the specific clients were very unique and very personal. And going from that to closet audits and working in the closet, it's the same thing because women and men had different needs in their life story of why I was there. It might have been a woman that was going through a divorce and so we're cleaning out the closet. That is your most intimate space. In closet audits, it's also the space where you hide things. And so those conversations become really deep. So it's a lot of trust and building that relationship in the closet, in the dressing room. And so going and designing, yes, we can design, closet designers can design pretty spaces all day long. But it really comes to the core of why you're there based on functionality, needs, budget. And so those are really deep conversations because if you're going to go custom, you want to do it right. And so that's what I love about it is the relationship part of what we do in that space.
When you look at closet audits, what's the next natural step? Is it organizing, or is it like, are you helping to organize after that? Or are you going into the design?
So when I first started, I had a whole system, purge, merge, splurge. So that was my system when I was doing closet organization. So it always started with the purge, getting everything out of the closet, assessing what is there. Now, mind you, back then in my closet audit, it wasn't always just closet design. It was about building a solid wardrobe
Like
to
you
build
got you got
confidence,
into their
to
their
shop
like
small.
lifestyle and how they appeared. Whoa, you're like a therapist. Wow, that
Yes. Yes, that's why I say that that's what led me into the closet design because my closet audit was remember 2010 when the whole world was going to shut down and people were losing their homes and businesses were closing. We were in an economic crash back then. At the same time when you're in that space, you still need retail therapy. So the services that I provided was, okay, let's shop smart. So I was educating clients on how to take care of their clothing, how to not shop and buy everything off the mannequin, how to buy smart things to build a wardrobe based on their needs, their personal style, so forth. So that's where that closet audit came in. So the purge piece of that was let's get everything out, let's assess what we have. That's what led into private consignment at the time as well, because, okay, let's get rid of this and let's rework it back into your closet because you can create a really solid wardrobe with less pieces and have more personality of who you are that's going to bring you better confidence when you step out of the closet into the world. So that's really where it started. Now with the design people back then it was, purge. Merge was like, okay, you pull everything together, you got your audit kind of going, then we could organize the closet like your boutique with the existing system. Splurge at that time wasn't let's just tear down a closet and start over. It was really about the merchandising piece of your space. So it was, making sure you have proper hangers. Your wardrobe is going to require different storage needs. And it was teaching individuals you don't want to hang cashmere, how to fold it. That's where the retail part, how to fold jeans to maximize your space, how to organize if you have drawers in your closet, just like we did in stores. That title was like back of house organization. Because in retail, there's a whole system that happens in the stock room. Because our focus in stores is be able to turn product quickly because you are constantly getting new deliveries. And that's where the organization piece came into closets. When it became about design, I understood that because it was taking stockroom organization as well as front of store merchandising and kind of merging all of that together in an individual closet space. So when I tell clients, I want you to walk in and feel like this is your very personal boutique, and I want you to feel the way you feel when you shop all of your favorite stores. Like, I really mean that because part of my role in opening stores in that merchandising space was exactly that. We merchandise stores to draw clients in based on their emotions. So when you walk into the store, the way it's merchandised, there's a system of what gravitates you
Yeah.
onto this little
No, it's so
brand.
true. It's so true. Like
The smell,
one of my
the
favorite
color.
stores ever, the way it's merchandise. Have you ever been to Fred Siegel in Beverly Hills? That place, you walk in, you're like, I need to spend money. It feels so nice in there, but you feel it.
You feel good. It's based
It
on your emotion. You
smells
feel good.
good.
It
And
smells good.
that's what you were bringing, that level of intention, that's what you were bringing to clients?
Yeah, so and it isn't just about the luxury of I come from luxury retail, so I understand the merchandising piece, right? When you go to a luxury store, you are not coming out of the seams in the store. It's very specific. We're merchandising minimums of 6 to 8 shirts on a table, right? Everything is very balanced. Everything is very leveled. Everything is spread out, so there's a lot of space. Now, in the closet, that's not always the case because in the closet, you are coming out of the seams because of the overload of stuff you typically have. So that's where that organization of, okay, how do we maximize that space, but still give you, when you walk into your personal closet, that feeling of when you're walking into your own store, into your favorite store, the way it smells, the way it's hung, the way you want it merchandised. So when I work with clients on a closet design, I typically will send them a wardrobe analysis sheet that I developed just so I can understand what they have in the closet, what the needs are, what are their preferences of how they like things stored. And then it's a lot of education on what's going to work in the space. And then, being able to say, okay, based on what's in the closet currently and based on a new design, you're going to need to purge, maybe about 2 feet of, a specific maybe category if we're going to maximize because, with spaces, those spaces don't lie as far as what they're going to hold. I mean, if you're going to need a lot of drawers and shelves for shoes, which is typically what you need in a closet if I'm coming in after you having kind of like that builder special of just a shelf and a rod, then that's going to take wall space and so forth. So that's the fun part though, like, working with clients in that aspect. It's very collaborative. Coming from an environment where I worked for a franchise, I've also, designed for a national dealer. We were trained obviously to sell and design, and it was a lot about product knowledge. But now that I'm independent, I've developed my own standards in the space because I understand it differently than a franchise where my focus isn't to come in and just sell you a system. I'm very honored and blessed to have local fabrication, private label manufacturing. The creative piece is that I can say to a client, I want to work and be the solution within your budget and actually mean it. Because I have the ability to source different things to get them what they need and then be able to have that honest conversation, full transparency of, okay, if your budget is this, that's going to be a little unrealistic. This is where we're going to really be. And it not be that I'm trying to sell them something. As a business owner, I don't work on commission. So it really is about
That's
I
great.
want to be the
That's great.
solution for them.
So tell what about the current business right now, CM Closet Design. Like, what does the day to day look like? What kind of clients do you work with? How big is the team?
So we have a small team. We're a team of 4 because we also have garage. So with my CM Closet Design, all of my closet business is based on referral. So I took my website down about a year ago because we were extremely busy with our garage business. And I kind of like it that way because it's a very specific client that's reaching out, and it's not me running all over town for, the 5th closet quote. So it's very specific. And so I go through the process when a client calls, is, that free consultation is a Zoom call. I want to hear more about your project. I want to make sure that I'm the right fit, but also if they're going to be the right fit for me as well. And so that's what the day to day looks like. It's a combination between closets, garage cabinets, concrete coatings. It's
Yeah.
it's all it's
What
all stuff every day.
what's been the biggest sort of highlight in the past couple years for you? What's been the bit like What do you love about the business aside from just helping like the growing of the business? Like what's been a good rewarding thing for you?
Really, it's been about community. I'm heavily involved in networking, both at the local level and on the national level. So for me, I thrive in collaboration, whether it's collaborating with a client, with an interior designer, with the closet community. We look at our business in two ways because of the garage aspect of it. We look at it as both home improvement. So I'm connecting with not just closet folks, I'm connecting with home improvement contractors, and so those conversations are very interesting to me because I love the industry that I'm in and I'm very passionate about that. And so getting a different perspective of both new people coming into the, organized storage space, whether it's millwork, cabinet guys, kitchen and bath people, that is then rewarding is just the relationships that I'm building in the industry as a whole, from contractors, home improvement, new closet people, vendors, things like that.
That's
I love
great.
that
And then
aspect of it.
you're in San Antonio? Did I make that up? Man, okay, cool. How's that as a market? Is it growing?
Oh gosh,
Everybody's
yes.
moving
I
to
mean, obviously
Texas.
everybody's moving to Texas.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, that's why we have a garage company, because when COVID hit and everybody was coming to Texas, when we couldn't get product of closet materials, that is when we launched concrete coatings. And that was like a whole other world. I mean, I had no idea that concrete coatings is such a thing. And so I mean, the first few years, I mean, it was amazing. It was a lot to learn. Um, and then now that we are actually in the middle of a rebrand with our garage company, it's been exciting because that is what where our phone rings is garage cabinets, concrete coatings. And then of course that leads me into the
Because
closet.
once you're in the home,
So
yeah, and you have the relationship and is built on trust, you can literally do anything, right?
yes, yes. And so we're, locally, we are members of the local builders association. I'm a member of Women in Construction Council. I just rejoined ASID, which I'm really excited about. Two very good friends of mine are in the executive position for Texas, both president and vice president. So that was one reason why I came back to ASID to support, their mission. And as far as closet design, I want to be able to collaborate, with
That's
interior
cool.
designers as well.
That's really, really cool. How, I know that you like are involved. Like, how does one really maximize networks and like balancing the day-to-day of running a business and then the time and the energy that it takes to like whether it's ASID or whether it's the Causes Association or like these builder networks, like how can you talk to me about that? I mean, I invest in networks myself, and sometimes like I build my own networks. I always find it really hard to like to balance that. Do you have a strategy for how you like leverage those types of situations?
Yeah, I mean, I obviously, was heavily involved with ACSP. I was going to be the president for 2025. I stepped away back in July because at that time we really needed to focus on our business. And so I think that it's really important that as you look at the different networking aspects, if you are a business owner, obviously the most valuable thing that you have in your business is your time. And so being able to look at all different, networking opportunities is one just figuring out whether or not, you know, that community is going to really be a return on the investment of your time. Because as a business owner, it is all about your ROI. We do a lot of Google ads and we don't do any Facebook ads anymore because it blew our budget and we weren't seeing a return. So it's the same thing when you're networking. You got to be able to see some sort of return, whether it's going to be the return of bringing you monetary business or the return of the knowledge and the wisdom of that specific community to help you grow your business. And so I'm involved in different things for different reasons. I rejoined ASID because I want to connect with designers in my community. At the national level of networking, I didn't get any leads. So it was really a lot of my time. So I had to really like step back and say, okay, I've invested this much time, I've spent this much money. What have I really received, from that? So that's where I had to shift and say, okay,
Local.
ASID at the local
Yeah.
level, connection with designers. It's going to bring business. Because I also have a garage company with concrete coatings, that is why we joined the Builders Association. We want to get in there for concrete coatings with those new builds. And of course, I would do closets all day long, but there's a specific reason. And then we delegate that within our team. My husband does a lot of the networking when it comes to the garage aspect of it. We have a team lead that's been with us for 2 years that also partners with us with networking as well. So it's not just one person. Um, for me, my favorite part of networking is in the closet industry, the cabinet industry, because that is what I know. When I first launched my business in 2018, I had to really dig deep. I didn't find like the right community. There wasn't a lot going on. I didn't even know that there was an independent industry out there. I came from California closets, so that's all I knew. I had no idea that there was a whole industry outside of that. And so just launching my business, I had to go really deep and kind of find all of those resources. And so, and although I'm not part of ACSP on the executive level, I'm still a member. I still talk to business owners every week, new people coming into the industry. And so, like you mentioned, sometimes you have to start your own community. And that's kind of my passion project right now is I'm working on a small community of people that are just like me, where sometimes, quality is always better than quantity. I think that when you network on a smaller scale, one on one, um, it's powerful.
Absolutely.
It is like super
Yeah.
powerful.
I mean, that's honestly the cheat code behind networking is and having a podcast is like you just have to it allows you to just connect with people on a deeper level and just kind of get I mean, my biggest thing and I've been like posting like
Mhm.
content around this is like I just want to be around people that share the same values for me. That's like on a fundamental level, like
Yeah.
we don't need to agree on things, but like on a values basis, that's where I want to work with. And being able to do that, even because the energy that you put out there and the energy that you bring to your business, that's what you attract. And
Yes.
it is so much more rewarding
Yes.
when you can provide a service and or product or service to somebody that truly sees your value and you see their value and that exchange between they have a problem you have a solution and then it is a fit and then beyond the money and the product it is just a great experience, man. Like that's what I strive for now, like, you know what I mean, because life is too short. Did you just say life is too short? Did you just say that? Well, less is more. Yeah,
No, so
but
less is
and
more.
also too, like life is too short to be able to like it's not just about the dollar. It's like it's about providing, true, value and community where like where what I do enriches your life and you enrich my life. And that's it.
Absolutely. I mean, honestly, when I left California Closet, I thought I was going to be there forever. I mean, I was like the walking cheerleader for
Until you realize that
years.
you were very undervalued there. You're like, oh my God. No, were you? Were you?
Yeah, not really. Not really. I mean, I was very successful in the time that I was there. I had a national commercial. I connected with a lot of corporate people. I had built a network
Oh,
of friends.
I'm not saying you weren't successful.
The only
I know you're successful wherever you are, but in your head, you are worth way more. Correct?
well, well, I did. I worked way more, but the reason why I ended up resigning was because, like what you just said, life is short. At that time, my father-in-law had been diagnosed with cancer. And so we knew that we only had a few months. And at that time, I was overwhelmed and my mental health wasn't the best, having to take all these closet appointments and everything being on a quota and sell, and then coming home and knowing that life is short and we're going to lose a loved one any day now. It messes with you, in everything about you. And so I literally resigned in May. My father passed away in August, and then my father-in-law passed away 6 weeks later. So it was a blessing that I left when I did because we grieved for about 6 months. And That's the only reason why. Had that not happened, because I always look at situations and think, why is this happening? Everything that kind of happens for a reason. You got to be able to step back and think, okay, there's a reason for this, and we know that. I believe I would have stayed with that company through thick and thin had that not happened, but because there was something more for me, and that happening, I left and now I'm here. So I think that, you know, when you talk about the quality and the quantity, that's exactly it. I love the idea of being an independent because I can choose what appointments I want to take. Like you said, that's going to bring me and them, the client, value. Life is too short. And so I want to enjoy what I'm doing and
Absolutely.
be able to have fun doing it. And I think homeowners, I think after COVID, I think they feel the same way. I think that's why we're seeing such a movement within closets, organization, professional organizing, is that clients are really wanting to get that clutter out of their home because life is short and they want to enjoy their space, with their loved ones and feel good. We know that clutter makes you feel chaotic, just stuff. And you breathe, goodness when you can walk into a space and feel good about
Absolutely.
it.
Absolutely. Thanks for sharing that. And I'm sorry, that must have been a really tough year for you.
It
Yeah.
was, but on the flip side, my phone was ringing, and so it was a great just to figure out, how do I do this? Like, I never thought, like, I didn't ever think that I could do this, and you just keep going, and you have to stay. I think with any business owner or any designer looking to go independent as well, because it's always a scary thing, is that you have to have an open mind and just trust the journey. That don't force things. Let it evolve the way it's supposed to, and it will lead you in the right direction. And most importantly, like you just mentioned, connect with individuals and organizations that share the same value as you, because that's only going to help you further.
So great.
It's all
Okay,
collaborative.
last question before we head to the other towards the end of the podcast. How are you feeling about the state of the world and the economy as it relates to your business and your industry? How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I think overall, we know that the industry is growing. We see all of the reports, what is happening business wide. I look at all that stuff. That's just, again, the retailer in me of what's trending. But, not to get into the politics of it all, it just seemed like right after the election happened,
Interesting. Yeah,
people were ready to spend money.
it's
You
interesting.
know, I, and I think a lot, it's twofold though. I think that with what we do with our business, with garage organization, coatings, all of that. And then, of course, custom closets. 10 years ago, closets was definitely a luxury. It wasn't a need, it was a want. But what we're seeing and what I've seen in the last few years is that closets are now becoming the standard of a need. Just like if you were building a new home and you need mini blinds, you need shades on your windows,
Sure.
that is the conversation of what I've seen with the closets. The difference is today, though, is that, real estate is getting better, especially in San Antonio in Texas. New builds are still happening within the builder world. And so I think that there is some positivity where wealthy people
Yeah,
are feeling like that it's okay to spend
that's
money.
great.
And I
Yeah,
think
thanks
that's
for
what I love.
sharing. Okay, so this is a part of the podcast where you get to ask any marketing and business advice. Is there anything that you want to help brainstorm or think through, or I can help you out with?
Yes, this is the fun part. So as I mentioned earlier, I'm working on a passion project, and it's been a few months kind of in the works. And so my thought is, how did you get into podcasting and all of this? I think that this is kind of cool. I listen to a lot of different podcasts, and I definitely
Yeah.
am one that likes to talk to people.
That's a really
Sure.
listen, I love podcasting so much. Like so much. So I'll give you the background behind it. One was so years ago I decided I must have been like 12 years ago. I think my oldest is 13. So he might have been like 2 years old. So like let's say 10 years ago. I decided I wanted to be good at Instagram. And I was like, Instagram is like this new thing. I just want to be good at it. And so I committed to just like, but I came up with this little minds, this sort of framework around niche, like inch wide, mile deep, just like niches. And I remember I was on a trip to Denmark and I couldn't sleep. And I was just up at night, just researching like niche websites, niche SEO, niche everything. And so, and then I found this guy, I forgot what this podcaster's name was, but he just built niche businesses. So what I started to do was I started to think about like, or what am I like passionate about? And at the time I was running a nonprofit. We helped inner city kids with skateboarding, snowboarding, and surfing. So I was like, I like skateboarding and I like motivational quotes. And remember back in the day on Instagram, it was all about the luxury quotes. So like images of luxury with motivational quotes on it, right? Like that's what, so I was like, what if I combined motivation with like motivational quotes on top of pictures with skateboarding? And that was the idea. So I started doing that and I started sharing it. And I was coming up with the quotes and I was I was posting 2 to 3 times a day. And I was growing really fast because back in the day it was easy to grow on Instagram, right? So I grew really fast. I grew like 10,000 followers in 3 months, right? And it was called Skate Motivation.
Wow.
And then uh I started getting pro skateboarders that were following the account. And then I started adding video to it. So I would add video with the motivational quotes and started growing even faster. I ended up getting it to like 60,000 followers. But the interesting thing was I started to just get pro skateboarders to reach out. So, and then I was DMing them. And so I kept thinking, you know what? Wouldn't it be cool if I interviewed these people? What if I added a, a, a voice component to this community? And then the other part too. So like in this story, you'll literally get the playbook. Like anybody that's paying attention, you'll get the playbook. So I created a community called hashtag skate motivation. And I would have people use that hashtag and then I would repost their images or their videos. And then I would edit them and I would add a custom quote to it. So it started being like this global community. I'd have kids in China, I'd have kids in Brazil, like all over the world just started using hashtag skate motivation. And then to build even more community, I created the podcast. So I started interviewing professional skateboarders and I started developing relationships with them. And so I did that for like, it was like 3, 4 years. And it was, to me, it wasn't like, I tried to monetize it, but like anytime you take a passion project and you try to monetize it, you start losing the love out of it. So I put that project to bed. And
Yeah.
then when I came in, so then when I came,
Oh, I was
is it okay?
my son is
Okay.
really big into skateboarding, so
Yeah.
he definitely needs some motivation.
So interesting. So when I came to the wood industry, right, the wood, furniture, lumber, sawmill. So like even if you look at my Instagram account, you scroll all the way back, I had the same playbook. I took motivational quotes and I added it to images of people doing woodworking and lumber and sawmill and furniture. And then as that started to grow, I added a podcast because I wanted to add a voice. I wanted to hear the people that were posting the pictures and I wanted to share their stories. And then that started to grow and then I leveraged that to like build a community and clients and that sort of stuff. So that's how I got into podcasting. I mean, I've even, so like this podcast, so like, I'm started the new podcast, the Designers and Builders. Like it's kind of the same thing. Really what it is like I think the future of business is around community building. And I feel like you need to identify yourself as a community member and part of being this community. But like, here's the thing, there's lots of podcasts out there. And in anything, like people like, do people need another podcast? Actually, podcasting is still small and nascent because most people stop doing podcasts after 20 episodes. Like they give up on it. But I've developed this framework to like essentially make it interesting. right? And so that people can continue. But here's the thing is that like all of those people, you can build a podcast around like your values and you. And so for me, I'm like, yeah, there are other architects, designers, builder podcasts out there, but like, listen, I mean, I have my own flavor. I have my own style. I have my own people that I want to attract. There, I have my own stories that I want to share and tell. Like for me, if I see what's out there in terms of like the content, to me it's actually kind of whack. Actually kind of whack. It's really surface level. I want to get deeper. I want to be able to tell better stories than anybody else and then share that and then inspire other people within the community to grow, grow personally, professionally, so that's kind of that's like my philosophy.
Oh, that is amazing because you are like speaking all of the things that are in my head right now in this
Yeah.
passion project that I'm putting together. And specifically because it's been individuals that have said, Carly, you need to do this, or you should do this. And then just listening to what the
Yeah.
community is needing and wanting. I get phone calls just like, how did you do this, Carly? How did you get started?
Yeah.
I need manufacturing.
Yeah.
I'm such a connector of I know
Yeah.
somebody, let me connect you. And so I
Yeah.
love that you just shared all of that because that just
But here's the thing.
heading in the right direction.
I love
What's
that you're thinking like this. Here's the amazing thing is that like the same energy that created the world is the same energy that you can use to create your own.
yes. Yes, I agree with that. And I think you hit something really, I think, specific is that when you talked about the skate piece, once you started to look to monetize it, you kind of lost the passion for that. And yes, that's I think what's happening is with all these new communities and all that, everything's about monetizing and then it just becomes where it just stops because then you lose the connection of the quality. And it is with social media, I think.
Surface
So you can
level.
hear
Yeah, it's super. Yeah, is that helpful to hear that?
yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Yes. I mean,
Yeah.
just gave me a whole ton of confidence of like, okay, I'm not in fantasy level.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah,
no,
there's people like you.
this thing. I mean, it's an under like there's not too many people that are playing in this space, and the more the merrier, especially if values are aligned and missions are aligned. To me, that's like yeah, like because exactly.
Yeah, you got to find your tribe. Our tribe doesn't have to be
It could be like a few thousand or a
find
few
your tribe.
hundred. That's it. Like it's like and you don't actually need a lot of followers or an audience in order to have a good life. And
Well, that's why
absolutely
quality over quantity.
cool. All right, so how can people stay in touch? What's your Instagram? I know you said your website is down or you don't have a website now, but how can people stay in touch? What's your Instagram?
You can find me at cm.closetdesign. And you can also find me on LinkedIn. I do a lot of networking on LinkedIn. And that
Awesome. Thank you so much, Carlissa. I'm so excited to get your story out and I look forward to staying in touch. All right, bye.
yes, absolutely. Thank you so much.